And again, I'm Philip Kaiser. That's the formal part of tonight's presentation. I will be talking about mostly the camp experience. A little bit more background on me. We'll talk about that later after the fact. This is all about camp. There are two other people that I kind of wish could be here tonight. They wanted to be fellow Oklahomans. Joe and Mary Ebersol are up in Muskogee, and they have been really big supporters of Camp Quest and Camp Quest Texas. In fact, they also have some scholarships that they have offered that are, unlike some of the merit-based, theirs are, would you say talent-based? Yeah. Because their requirement is that the potential camper write a bit of an essay about why they want to go to camp. And they consider the submissions they get in for awarding scholarships. So, as I said, my portion is all about the experience. You saw a whole bunch of things in that video about what it is to be at camp. Last year, it was not at the place where it's going to be this year. It was instead at a 4-H camp down in Brownwood, right off Lake Brownwood. And just to talk through some things, the general course of the day actually starts the night before. Camp is the Monday through Friday, but you get there Sunday. Your parents bring you, drop you off, and then right off the bat, you start meeting some of the other campers that have arrived. You pick your bunk, and until you make your bunk, it's not actually yours. So first thing off, you got to take responsibility for what's going on there yourself. We have some various games and other things that first night to help get people meeting each other, and then stay overnight. Before getting in bed, you got to take the shower. Got to get clean, because we all get grimy during the day, being out in the hot Texas sun. So the first day, after waking up, a little bit of room cleaning, get ready, go to breakfast, clean the room, and there's a contest on cleaning the room. The contest for cleanest cabin warrants you a pink unicorn that the other camps use as a talking point, because the other camps have an invisible pink unicorn that's wandering around camp somewhere, and the campers are invited to prove that the pink unicorn is or is not there in some way. Being Texas, we have an invisible jackalope wandering the grounds. But there is a real pink unicorn in our camp, and that's the prize for having the cleanest cabin. That prize gets you the first in line for lunch, dinner, and s'mores. Yeah. After that, there's a bit of a hike, walk, some of the various trails, things like that, and we ended up down at the lake. Half of the campers stay at the lake, the other half go to arts and crafts. Again, being Texas, first day, it's really important. We make backpacks so that we can always have our water with us and our sunscreen. Really important in Texas. While the other half was down, actually with me. I was down at the lake. We would be looking at the rocks, be looking at flora and fauna. One day we tried to look at the microbial stuff with microscopes in the lake. We're trying to get some better microscopes this next year. But after that, we'd go kayaking most days. One day, instead of just going kayaking, we actually had some barrels, wood, rope, and things like that, and the project was to build some kind of water-worthy craft that the two teams could race. That was fun. Any comments on that one?
Well, it didn't work out too well for most of the people. The other team got halfway across the lake, and then it broke. They were all like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna beat you," and then they got the same thing as we did. So.
It was a whole lot of fun. And then the two groups swap, which is the way we do a lot of that. Is there are enough campers that we do divide into two groups for a lot of things, and one will do one thing and the other something else, and then we cross in the middle and each shares. Come back, clean up, have lunch, After lunch, we would have some pool time. Pool time, always a good thing. This year it's going to be a little different. I don't think, there aren't too many water slides, but there's a big trampoline in the water.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you're looking forward to that, huh?
Yeah, that sounds really, really awesome.
So after pool time, we would have another split time where half is doing science and half is doing some kind of outdoor activity. Often a, let's see, we had dodgeball with wet sponges. We had a variation on freeze tag that was using a actual, biological versus, biological viruses versus doctors type feel to it, for the doctors could unfreeze, things like that. And again, swap. Some of the things we would do in the sciences were, you might have seen, lots of great pool time. Hey, there's us trying to use the microscope. Yeah, and they find things with the pond too. Yeah, I should have been clicking a bit. So during science, was this the science or art and craft? I wasn't inside for most of that.
That
so
was science.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things they did during science was take an animal and imagine them marooned
In a different environment than they would usually be in, and we had to give it special adaptations to better survive.
So they would imagine the variations that would form in an animal over an extended period of time, given some make-believe location that they put the animal in. And there were some fun adaptations that the animals developed. And they had to explain why, what adaptations they had and why. I'll come back to that. There's science in here somewhere. Some of the science stuff was using giant 2 and 3 liter water bottles with 2 smaller test tubes, mostly filled with water, and some weights to demonstrate pressure differences. One day was music, where some musical instruments were made and some of the theories of music were gone over. One of the really interesting science experiments involved voodoo, but I will let you hear that from Hayden Company. Was that fun?
Yes, that was very fun.
If anyone knows the Four effect, it was relating to that. And so science and the physical activities would swap. And we'd have a little bit of free time, downtime in the cabins, where we would have some of our discussion groups. Talking about bullying, talking about free thinking, other free thinking topics in general. And it is real important that this is not just some form of lecture by the counselors to the campers. It's all interactive. It is by the interaction that people learn best, and that is what we try to have in everything we do. One of the outdoor activities actually involved a ropes, log, and rock climbing course. You see here a little bit of assistance being given to a free-floating log that's suspended on both ends by wires. Very hard to walk across. So a little bit of skill and a little bit of trust involved. And always the fun. Rock climbing, I didn't get to do this. They didn't have time for the counselors to do it, only the campers, but we got to film it. And it did look fun. Swimming pool time again. Here's one of the science sessions that dealt with the pressure variances. Lots of it, lots of fun. The kids, the campers helped out in the kitchen. I don't believe that is going to happen to that extent this next year, just to the rules of the camp we're at, but there'll still be many ways to help. This is initial planning stage for them building their own boats. Those are some blue barrels in the middle. There's some 2x4s and rope that they're trying to figure out how to put them together with. After all the free time and science and so on, there was dinner. And after dinner, there was free time. Free time, you actually got to choose. The campers got to choose what they wanted to do. And they could either play games, which involved billiards, card games, ping pong, basketball, whatever was available in the area. You could go and do some of the arts and crafts, or one of the other things that I thought was just amazingly awesome was something called Socrates Cafe. It comes from a book that its name might be Socrates Cafe, but Amanda is the one that brought this to us. And the point of it is there's no lecturing, but there is answering questions. But that's always kept short, and you always needed to end whatever you were saying with a question and turn the speaking floor over to someone else around you for them to either answer, take the question in a slightly different direction, and something else. And at the beginning of this, everyone is told that there is no one that is an authority at this particular event. Everyone is an equal. Everyone's questions is considered equally. You know, a bunch of the pictures in the video you saw looked like Amanda was lecturing people. That's just because that's when the camera happened to be there taking pictures, and it was someone that wasn't talking that happened to be taking the picture. She actually spoke only as much as everyone else. If it was a little more, it was only to maintain flow of conversation, to point who was talking. And, you know, every one of these campers is, well, I'm getting tired, but you know, these are pictures at the, well, there's more, but all of these pictures right here are at the Socrates Cafe session. And every one of the campers is there voluntarily rather than playing games or doing arts and crafts. And they're enjoying being challenged. You know, these are, you know, deep thought looks that you're noticing on all the faces, because they're, I mean, it's awesome. Of course, I was at the kayaks every day, and I love that, being out on the water every day, as you can see. Yeah, I had my head everywhere. Everyone at camp knows my hat, likely. What was your nickname, by the way?
My nickname? Hayden the Rock Lady.
Oh yeah, you're shown on stage with the guitar even. So absolutely. You had many names that fit. At night, you know, after the free time, we gather back for campfire, which is often here somewhere. You know, one of the arts and crafts days was actually doing the dyeing of the tie-dye shirts. So those are done on site by each of the campers. Oh yeah, air hockey. So you play with me. And that was our entire group last year. And you know, and then we, at the end of the day, after campfire, where we have some talk about non-theist or free-thinking individuals, some stories, s'mores, lots of flashlights, lots of fire and sparks, and enjoying the outdoors. It would be back to the cabins to wrap up, take the showers, and repeat the next day. Although one day we did have a special outing after normal bedtime, where we went out and did some stargazing. And we're definitely planning on doing that even bigger this next year. We have some people we're trying to arrange right now to bring telescopes and such. And this is our logo from this coming year. I believe that's pretty much it. Yep.